The great thing about Chen Offlane is that he's a very strong laner, and you can often just snowball from your one laning phase and carry your team to an early victory. But what do you do if you lose the lane? That is what we're going to look at in this video.
My holiness deepens.
Welcome to the Church of Obelisk. If you want to see more up-to-date content on Chen and various other micro heroes, join the fold by subscribing and clicking the bell. And here in this game you see that Naga is trying to go for the rune here, and she gets the rune. And we can also see in this game here is that this replay is kind of bugged. It's using the 7.22 map, which doesn't really make any sense, but that is what's happening. It's a new bug and I haven't found a way of fixing that, so apologies for that, but you're just gonna have to deal with that. So here in this game we see Chalice playing Chen, and Chalice has gone for a very unusual choice here. He's gone for Divine Favor at level 1, which is what you always see as Chen if he's played as a support, or what you usually see. But as a core you usually see people taking Holy Persuasion level 1 and then taking over this range creep to help you with last sitting. And to be honest, I think that Chalice is just playing this laning stage completely wrong. So don't copy what Chalice is doing here. Instead, if you want to find out how you play a Chen laning stage as an offlaner, look at my older videos on Chen Offlane from the tail end of 7.22. That is still mostly up to date what is in those videos. And what you see there is people taking over this range creep and then using that to get superior last sitting. But here is going for this Divine Favor, which gives him sustain, but just makes him really weak at the start of the laning phase. And so we see Treant Protector taking a lot of damage here, and Chen is not really last sitting particularly well against this Naga. And we now see Treant Protector again being gone on here. He's getting very low here. He's being burnt down, and that is first blood going to this Shakiro. At least it's not on the Naga Siren, but still this is pretty bad, and Chen is also going to take a lot of damage here. We're taking over the Seta Banisher now, this level 2. This Banisher is reasonably useful. You can use it as slow here, so Naga Siren are forced to TP out to the tower to save herself, and she's running low in region, so that's one thing they have going for them. But this is not the strongest creep at the start. Like, this Purge is kind of useful. It's going to help you purge off the spells from Jakiro. Both Dual Breath and Liquid Fire can be purged, but this creep just has so bad right click stats, like it's only 8 damage, so it doesn't help you very much with last hitting, and this generally just not very strong in a straight up fight. Take a look at this. Creep's on a tower and he's missing these last hits. If you had a range creep with you, you can easily take those last hits. And this creep helps a little bit, has 16 damage, but he missed another last hit here and gets this one. So he gets some of these last hits, but you would just get a lot more of these with just a range creep, and you would easily also get some denies against this Naga Siren. And you can see Naga is doing really well in last hits, and Chen is falling behind, and now he's going to go for one of these creeps here, but there's like no chance of getting a really good creep here at this stage of the game. Like, the best you can get is probably like an Ogre Frost Mage, just as a defensive creep to help you out against the physical damage from Naga. Or you can maybe get like one of these golems to throw out some shards here, but that's not that strong. You really want to get some of these creeps from the small camp at the start. These are the best creeps you can get with level 1 or level 2 persuasion. These wolves are not particularly strong, but if you can get like a harpy that's extremely strong, you can get one of these troll priests, also very strong, you still have sustain. You can also get the ghost, which is quite strong with its high physical damage and its slow attack. Clockwork just TP'd here, and they're going Chen here. The thing about Chen is that he's not very good if he's just being outnumbered and people are just going on him. And dying is very costly in Chen because you usually also lose your creeps. And that just sets you behind a lot. And now we also see Troll Warlord coming in, and so these are going to kill off this Chen and his creeps are also going to die. And that's kind of how you want to play against Chen. Just outnumber him, kill his creeps, and that just sets him back so much, because it's not just enough to respawn, you also have to regain your creep army, which can take a while. So especially here, because he had a Harpy, that's a very strong creep, especially during that first night, because you have full night vision on the Harpy. Losing that Harpy really hurts. So now, right now, Chen has no creeps, and for some reason he just doesn't want to take these range creeps. And now they're going on this tree end here, so you get the clockwork, and that is going to be another kill. I'm going to try to get this clockwork, but he is in the trees and manages to escape. And Chen can't really go after him, he has the last city under the tower. If we take a look at the levels, this Chen only just got level 4, this Naga-san is level 6, so he's full 2 levels ahead of him. This is not a very good position as Chen. You want to be winning the lane, and if you have this offlane Chen and you're losing the lane, that just completely kills your early momentum. The one thing he has going for him is that he's playing against a very defensive kind of hero. Naga-san is not a hero that wants to fight early. She's not a hero who can easily kill you at the start. So even if she has 2 levels up, she's not really coming after you. All this means just she's going to farm really well in this game. But as Chen, you still get to have a game here. So he's just farming some of these jungle creeps here, pushing out the wave when it comes into the tower, and just playing defensively and trying to catch up and get this Dominator. Now he's finally finished his Dominator and has a reasonable creep army here. And the next thing he's going to do is go and find a Dominant creep. You want ideally to find a Centaur. Centaur with the extra movement speed is very strong. He finds this Hellbar Smasher and just is going to kill this potato here. Just takes it over with this regular group slot because he can, and because keeping alive this cloak is not very valuable here at this stage of the game. So he's going to want to put out this wave and then look what's here, and maybe find a good creep here. And he finds a Tormentor. He's going to take over this with his helm because he's not level 4 yet on his Holy Persuasion, so he has to take this with his Dominator. And they're going on him here. They're using 4 people on these 3 people, and that's just not much fighting. He's trying to use his spells here on his creeps, but being outnumbered like that and playing against these really farmed heroes, this Naga Siren, this Troll Warlord, this is not going to look well. I'm going to try to go for this chick hero, but honestly this is not very smart. There's no chance of getting this hero, honestly, with those creeps. So he's just going to lose all his creeps. Whereas if he just run with the creeps, he would have probably saved most of them. Looking at the net worths here, you can see that top lane is heavily lost, mid lane is slightly lost, and bottom lane is winning for our Radiant team. So all the hopes now on this Morphling. The thing is about offlane Chen is that you really want to have a good start. You're so much stronger if you have a good start. You can snowball a lot. But the thing is that you can play offlane Chen from behind. There's certain offlane heroes who just need to have a good game for them to have impact. Something like a Legion Commander, for example. If you're behind the Legion Commander, you're just not doing very much in this game. Whereas Chen, of course, he's also a hero that can be played as a 4 or a 5. In fact, that's the primary mode he's played in. So if you're behind, you're just basically like a position 4 Chen. And you don't want your position 3 to be like a position 4, but you can still play the game even if you're behind. They're pushing top tower here, and they at least see Troll Warlord is in middle, and they see Beastmaster is bottom, so this is reasonably safe. And just using his abilities here to push down this creep wave and expedite this push, and being careful not to tank too much damage on one creep, so that you spread the damage, keep them all alive, and use the excellent region you have thanks to your Dominator and your Divine Favor aura. There's another good creep here with the Ghost. Takes over that one as well. And now he has a full team of creeps. Some of these are not the greatest creeps, like this range creep at this stage of the game is no longer very good. And Set of Banish is also kind of mediocre. So you want to replace them at some point, but at least you have 5 creeps now, so that makes you quite strong at this point. One problem he has is that he has a lack of mana, so maybe it might be good to take over this Hill Troll Priest, which gives an excellent mana regen aura. But right now they just saw 4 people at bottom kill this Morphling, so they know that's quite difficult for the enemy to respond to this push. They just keep going with this push with the catapult wave, and you keep his creeps here in front so the catapult doesn't die. And now that the enemy is slowly responding, they can go and fight this battle. He's recalled the Morphling after he respawns, and now Morphling can clean up. Unfortunately missing his axes, but that's okay. Still going in there and still probably getting this Beastmaster, and down he goes. This is now a hugely won fight for the Radiant, and the reason they won the fight is just that they were all there. They were all there except for Morphling, who was recalled, and the enemy just had to sort of TP in one by one, and that just gave them the overwhelming advantage. Plus, of course, you have this Chen, who doesn't have a mech yet, but he has those 5 creeps, or had those 5 creeps, which are, of course, very strong in this stage of the game still. They block the hookshot with from Clockwork, and they manage to make a clean escape. So just poking in the sort of tower can be quite useful. They put some damage on this tower, 500 damage, and they forced out the Macropyre, which is not the biggest ultimate and doesn't have that long of cooldown. But still, it's something. I didn't pay anything for it. So oftentimes it's good to just sort of poke at high ground and force the enemy to respond, even if you don't intend to take the tower or anything like that. Lion's just hanging out here in the mid lane, gets initiated here by this Clockwork. And so Chen, of course, he wanted to join this fight. So he's running here. And it's not looking good though. He's trying to come in here and help. They use this tether here. But the problem is this Troll Warlord is very strong. He's trying to keep him controlled, getting some good stomps off. He's not using his Ogre Frostmage as well as he should have, and fortunately Puck dives in there and dies, and you also see a buyback from Lion, so this was a pretty disastrous fight here for the Radiant. In terms of item build, after Dominator he went for Boots, which is very standard, and then going for the mech. And this build of course is very mana hungry, so you need to buy some clarities to tide you over until you get your mana boots. And of course no mana boots is now the next item. You could also go for something like a Flat, which will also help a bit with the mana regen. Chen is sort of wandering a bit far forward. I'm not sure what his plan is here exactly. Maybe he's going to try to go on this Beastmaster, but instead he gets gone on by Troll Warlord. And he tries to make his escape, gets roared. And it's very important in this stage of the game to just buy time with your creeps, use your stomps, use your claps, and in that way he manages to escape here. He also was of course helped by this Puck, who saved him, but this is a nice escape. But honestly, I'm not sure what he was doing there. He was just too far forward here, and this is not the kind of play you want to make with Chen because deaths are so costly. You see Troll farming all on his own, and I'll see some people in mid. You see Naga pushing bottom, so they know this Troll is an easy kill. He recalls Morphling here, and that is a nice kill. And immediately after they're going to smoke and going to see if they can find something more, but they don't. So Troll is still dead, and they want to use this opportunity to take this tier 1 tower. So Chen just running in here very aggressively, going into Shakiro. He's tanking everything here, using his all his heals, and he dies, but he does so for a good cause. So they kill his Naga, and now there's 3 people dead, and this should be an easy tower. And so it is. So sometimes it's okay to just throw away your life. Try to go on this C2 tower as well, but multi-shot gets used here, and the Alpha Wolf dies here. Should have been a bit more careful with that because it's quite a valuable creep. And this Alpha Wolf is especially important if you're playing with a Morphling. Because Morphling, all of his damage is base damage. So with the Alpha Wolf, he gets an extra like extra 70 damage here from just his aura. So that is amazing. I've seen on the team fight breaking out. Problem is that Chen doesn't have his cooldowns. He doesn't have any creeps except for this one Dark Summoner. So trying to fight here. They're going to go for this Warlord. They get the Warlord. But even though Troll is dead, Chen is also going to die. and it's just not a particularly favorable fight here. This Puck tries to make some plays, but not really getting anything, and thanks to the Naga Silent ultimate, they get a setup on him and kill him, and now they can retreat. And in the fight recap we see that this fight was definitely favorable for the DotA. It's Roshan time now, and you might think Roshan is under the pit here, but actually he is. Just the pit has been moved, so it looks kind of weird. But they're going for Roshan now, and Chen is sending his creeps out to do some scouting. One thing he should be doing is using the setup manager to break this Roshan passive, and then use Penitence on Roshan. That's one of the strongest anti-Roshan abilities. But as it is, they're still sort of slowly doing this Roshan and trying to slow them down, because right now this Morphling is really powerful, and generally the Radiant is a bit stronger at this stage of the game, because this Naga isn't quite online yet. Still needs like another item to be really strong. And fight gets started here. They're going on Treant Protector, trying to kill him off. He won't get his ultimate, but he does get his ultimate off before dying. And so they exchange their 4 for the enemy 3, which is also a good exchange. Naga comes in with her sleep, and they're trying to kill this Morphling, but he's just way too tanky and they can't keep him sunlocked for long enough. As Chen, you want to be a bit careful here not to get focused on. But here they go for this Troll Warlord. He's also taking over one of these boars, which is quite helpful. It deprives the enemy of a creep, and you get 1 creep, which is quite strong. These creeps have hero damage, so they do a lot of damage. And this fight is going quite well so far, and especially Morphling is still doing well. They have all their cores still alive, whereas the enemy lost 2 of their cores. Even though it was a 3-for-3 exchange, it was hugely favorable for the Radiant, and now they can go back into Roshan and force them to fight without their big troll. So Roshan is almost dead. Morphling gets stunned here, but finishes Roshan, takes the Aegis, and now it's party time. Beastmaster trying to save himself here, but he gets killed. And meanwhile Chen has actually gone for a Ghost Scepter, which is quite smart here in this game, because the enemy lineup is very strongly focused on physical damage. All 3 of their cores mostly do physical damage, so Ghost Scepter is extremely strong here. And he's healing himself up with a Clarity here, with his mana, so that he can rejoin his allies earlier. And what they want to do is just push with this Aegis. Morphling is very strong now. He has this Linker Sphere, has this E-Blade and the Aegis, so there's nothing really they can do against him at this stage. On their way though, Chen is still picking up some creeps. Gets this Alpha Wolf, of course the best creep here. But after this tower, they're just going to head back and do some more farming. 3 Radiant heroes down bottom here, and they're just clearing some illusions. But actually the enemy is nearby, and so they hookshot this lion and try to take him out as early as possible. Heal gets used by Chen, and lion is still alive. Sleep has to be used, so they're disengaging here. They're just trying to get out. Naga unfortunately still has a cooldown on TP, only now it's up and uses TP, but they are visible, so Naga gets stunned, and that's going to be her death. So that's 2 people down on the DotA, meaning that Radiant can now go and push. They still have this Aegis, it's going to run out fairly soon, but for now they can still use it and take some more objectives here. They took out both of the tier 2 towers, and now they're pushing onto high ground. And what you want to do as Chen here is just sit back, don't go in too far, and just keep your available creeps alive. Especially this Alpha Wolf, he shouldn't be that far forward. He really should be sitting somewhere here, still providing auras without being put in danger. The other groups are not that valuable, so you don't mind losing those, but the Alpha Wolf is too important to just let him die here. So this Alpha Wolf is just going to die for no reason, not really accomplishing anything. And Chen is also too far forward here. Gets gone on, uses his Ghost Scepter, and saves himself here, also gets full staffed. Gonna try to escape here, but no escape possible. Morphling still alive, even still is the Aegis. So they get out here, losing some people here, but they got the melee Rex, so that's definitely a big win for our Radiant heroes. Also going Lion here, and Lion unfortunately doesn't look too good for him. He stuffs himself out, but they are actually ignoring him. But now he gets gone on, and that is a living Lion. Morphling still alive here, still wreaking havoc, and actually what looked like a rout managed to be turned around, and they're going to find this Beastmaster, and they are going to kill him here. And Chen meanwhile is respawned, he's going mid, defending mid, and I think he should be taking one of these range creeps, not the melee creeps. That's better here. Even took him over with the Dominator, which is kind of strange choice. Oh, he took over 2 melee creeps. I don't agree with that. Definitely take the range creeps. They're much better against other creeps. Only time you want to take melee creeps over range creeps is if you want to do some scouting, or if you pushing towers or other objectives, because melee creeps do more damage to buildings. And they're going on Morphling here, still has Aegis. Aegis now is popped. And by the way, I really liked when I said earlier that Aegis was going to run out soon. I mean, it was still quite a long Aegis. But now it's gone, and they're trying desperately to defend on the Dire team, but they just have nothing to say against this Morphling, who just has so many items and so much healing behind him to save him. This Treant, this Chen, as well as this full staff from Lion, just keeping this Morphling alive, and everyone on the enemy team is dying, and so this game is going to end very soon. Chen saves himself with his Ghost Scepter, as well as his heals, and they're going after this Clockwork, and Clockwork dies. So this game is over now. What do we learn from this game is that you shouldn't despair if you're losing your lane as a offlane Chen. You can still play Chen in more of a sporty kind of role and still definitely win the game if you have one of your other cores having a really good game, as Morphin did in this particular game. Take a look at all these other games that I've done on Chen. There's a playlist from all the Chen games from 7.23. Of course, it's 7.24 now, but Chen wasn't really changed in the patch, so all these games are still up to date. And all is willing, I'll see you there.